You think I speak Prussian? Do I look like an inbred hog, sir?
This review is brought to you by Netflix. So Amnesia, A Machine for Pigs finally comes out tomorrow, and despite being the second game in the Amnesia series, this one is not being done by the original developer, Frictional Games. Rather, the Chinese Room is taking over this, and that is the studio that made last year's Dear Esther, which is a very strange experimental art game. So what does that translate to in terms of horror? Well, I'm going to tell you the answer right now. Horror games are a dime a dozen these days, but 2010's Amnesia: The Dark Descent was a rare gem. A game predicated on the idea that the scariest parts are often what you can't see. Developed by the Chinese Room, a studio with a proven aptitude for storytelling but little to show in the way of horror, A Machine for Pigs offers a decidedly less frightening experience than its predecessor, but one that's equally as captivating and infinitely more disturbing. The game begins with you waking up alone in a castle, completely unaware of your surroundings and with no memory of the recent past. What begins as a search to find your two children quickly devolves into a nightmare of surgical horrors as you uncover old journal entries and telegrams, leading to revelations that would make even the most seasoned horror fan cringe. The turn-of-the-century time period is pretty much the perfect backdrop for a creepy medical horror mystery. Massive Victorian-era set pieces house some profoundly discomforting imagery, with a pervasive aura of creepiness that permeates every corner of the game, eventually culminating in a grand crescendo whose finale is as satisfying as it is visually spectacular. It's a world to be enthralled by and simultaneously disgusted with. A generally upsetting experience made even creepier by its ability to weave a truly nightmarish tale. A Machine for Pigs is a game whose storytelling is so utterly ingrained in the experience, it can be easy to forget you're actually playing it. Gameplay mechanics were already scarce in the previous game, but they're even less noticeable here. The inventory system is gone, and the control scheme, which is already intended to put players at a disadvantage, is coupled with a character who possesses the motor skills roughly equivalent to that of a blind toddler. You'll be bumping into things and struggling to open doors, and that's precisely how the game wants you to feel. Frustrated, with no weapons or any real form of self-defense, your sole possession is a lantern, no longer requiring the player to find tinderboxes or lamp oil. The relationship between light and dark that was so essential to The Dark Descent is effectively eliminated because of this. But A Machine for Pigs is such a narrowly directed experience with so much else to offer players, I really can't foresee anyone being upset about that. Any decrease in tension is immediately made up for with a setting far creepier than anything in the previous game, and packed with enough intrigue and suspenseful moments to keep you on the edge of your seat for around 6 to 7 hours. Occasionally, the game will ask you to solve puzzles in order to progress from one area to the next. These are usually simple requests like finding object A and putting it into object B, or they can be more involved, requiring sharp navigation skills and a constant mental blueprint of your surroundings. Of course, the real challenge with puzzles is having to solve them under less than ideal conditions. The world in Amnesia is a dark one, and it comes with all the ominous noises and unsettling visuals you'd expect. Trees whistling in the wind, the sound of errant footsteps behind you, bloody chains hanging from the ceiling. And did I mention that there's pigs? Yes, there are pigs, and yes, they are scary pigs. But how scary are they, and are there enough of these scary pigs? These are the questions that I find myself asking after I finish the game. You see, in The Dark Descent, you constantly felt like you were in danger, and that fear was compounded by the fact that your character was completely insane. In A Machine for Pigs, the moments that are genuinely terrifying are much fewer and far between, but the overall game has a much more sinister vibe to it. It's a trade-off that's inevitably going to upset some people, but those willing to appreciate the game's more subtle nuances will likely be satisfied with it on a deeper level. The music, voice acting, and writing are all noticeably improved and come together to form one of the most unique and well-produced horror games on the market. One that'll suck you in with its atmosphere, keep you engrossed with its story, and then laugh as you helplessly plunge into a downward spiral of madness. Amnesia: A Machine for Pigs is a slow burn, but ultimately it's a burn worth having. I give it a 4 out of 5. If you like this review and you want to see more, then why not support our sponsor, Netflix? With Netflix, you can stream your favorite TV episodes and movies right to your home in a cinch. All you need is an internet connection and a Netflix-enabled device, like a PC or Mac, a smartphone, or any video game console. For a limited time, you can grab a free trial and support the show by going to netflix.com/rev3games. So there was my review. I somehow seem to get stuck with all the horror games here at Rev3 Games, and you know what? I don't mind one bit, because this was great. This will be out tomorrow, September 10th, on PC, Mac, and Linux. It's going to cost $20, but if you pre-order it, if you decide you want the game, and you pre-order it before midnight tonight, you can get 20% off. So that sounds like something you like, then I recommend you do that, and once you get a chance to play it, come back here and let us know what you think.